Are you serious? Are you serious? Get some coffee and calm down. But Bart Begley has written a powerful article at his website at thecrusaderjournal.com. Bart now has decided to start writing a lot of his key articles, and boy, he's written some doozies today, including one that Hillary Clinton is trying to defend her funding of the dossier. You ought to read that article. But he also wrote one called Donna Brazile Says Clinton Used Unethical Finances to Take Over the Democratic Party Race Against Bernie Sanders. All right, let's just check this out. Here's what he wrote in an exclusive article that had originally been published, of course, Information in Politico. Former Democratic National Committee Chairman Donna Brazile claims that former Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton used unethical finances to rein in the DNC during the primary race against its opponent, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Brazile writes that she took control of the DNC after the convention because we know Debbie Wasserman Schultz was fired. She had promised Bernie that she would uncover the truth of whether Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign and team had rigged the nomination process. She had felt compelled to research the allegations after emails of the DNC had been stolen or leaked and then published online suggesting Clinton had rigged the primary process. I had my suspicions from the moment I walked in the door of the DNC a month or so earlier, based on the leaked emails, Brazile said, but who knew if some of them might have been forged? I needed to have solid proof, and so did Bernie. Now, folks, remember, this is coming from Donna Brazile. She's the former CNN political analyst who gave Hillary Clinton the questions for the second debate that was held on CNN. So Brazile then wrote the following. She said, so I followed the money. My predecessor, Florida Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, had not been the most active chair in fundraising at the time when President Barack Obama's neglect had left the party in a significant debt. Hillary Clinton's campaign gained momentum. She resolved the party's debt and put it on a starvation diet. It had become dependent on her campaign for survival, for which she expected to wield control of its operations. Now, Debbie was not a good manager. She hadn't been very interested in controlling the party. She let the Clintons' headquarters in Brooklyn do as it desired, so she didn't have to inform the party officials and officers how bad the situation was. How much control Brooklyn had, and for how long, was still something I had been trying to uncover for the last few weeks. But by September 7th, the day I called Bernie, I had found my proof, and it broke my heart. Brazile claims that Gary Gensler, the chief financial officer of Hillary's campaign, told her over the phone that the Democratic Party was broke and in debt $2 million. She claims to have learned that President Obama had left the Democratic Party $24 million in debt. $15 million was owed to the banks, and another $8 million was owed to vendors from the 2012 presidential campaign. This is 4 years later. Obama left the Democrats broke, busted, and disgusted. He left America broke, busted, and disgusted. But that would be another article for Bart to write. Now, President Obama's campaign was not due to pay off the 2016. However, Hillary for America and Hillary's Victory Fund both helped pay off 80% of the debt for the 2016 campaign. If I didn't know about this, I assumed that none of the other officers knew about it either, says Donna Brazile. She wrote, that was just Debbie's way. Talking about Debbie Wasserman Schultz. In my experience, she didn't come to the officers of the DNC for advice and counsel. She wrote, "She seemed to make decisions on her own and let us know at the last minute what she had decided, as she had done when she told us about the hacking only minutes before the Washington Post broke the news." Brazile then wrote some more. Again, she wrote, "Gary, how did they do this without me knowing?" I asked. "I don't know how Debbie relates to the officers," Gary said. He described the party as fully under the control of the Hillary campaign, which seemed to confirm the suspicions of Bernie in Bernie's camp. The campaign had the DNC on life support, giving it money every month to meet its basic expenses, while the campaign was using the party as a fundraising clearinghouse. Under FEC law, an individual can contribute a maximum of $2,700 directly to a presidential campaign, but the limits are much higher for contributions to state parties and parties' national committees. So individuals who had maxed out their $2,700 contribution limit to the campaign of Hillary Clinton could still write additional checks for as much as $353,400 to the Hillary Victory Fund and not break campaign laws. Yet we all know that is so unethical. The figure represented $10,000 to each of the 32 states' parties who were part of the Victory Fund agreement, which would be $320,000. And the other $33,000 was to go to the DNC. The money would be deposited in the states first and then transferred to the DNC shortly after that. Money in the battleground states usually stayed in that state, but all the other states funneled their money directly to the DNC, which quickly would transfer the money to Brooklyn. "Wait," I said. "The Victory Fund was supposed to be for whoever was the nominee and the state party races. You're telling me that Hillary's been controlling it since before she got the nomination," which is illegal because it's to be shared between her and Bernie. Brazile claims that Gary told her that if the campaign had not done it, the party was in danger of collapsing. Are you listening to this? The Democrats are in trouble, folks. They're losing elections everywhere. Their party's broke, busted, and disgusted. They don't know what the American people really want and really need. And now they're fighting everything that Trump attempts. They're fighting, Obamacare's collapsing. They don't care. Let it collapse. Let the people just squander and just twist in the wind. They don't care. They're fighting tax relief. They're fighting cutting taxes. They're fighting the flag. They're fighting everything. Okay? It's unbelievable. So Gary explained to Brazile that the deal was struck between Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Robbie Mook, the former campaign manager for the Clinton organization. So Brazile claims she was livid after learning the details of the financial situation of the party that she had just inherited. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the scandals, the Podesta emails, the Wasserman emails, Hillary's server that was hidden, all the emails there. Where did that money go? Uranium One, getting to Russia, the Clintons getting the kickback, not in the Democratic Party, but the kickback went where? To the Clinton Foundation. The Clintons using everybody's money but their own, and leaving Bernie Sanders twisting in the wind. Plus, don't forget the 500 super delegates that were all going to Hillary. Do you want to know why? Out of 524 super delegates, why 500 of them picked Hillary right before the race ever started? Because Hillary agreed that she would pick up the tab for the $24 million that Obama left on the bill. And by picking up that tab, she said, "I'll do it on one condition, that all the super delegates vote for me." That made it that it was impossible for Bernie to win because she was already ahead by 500 delegates. Bernie would have to make that up with the population. But the way the Democrats do it, if you win a state, you don't get all the delegates. You only get the delegates of the districts you win. In other words, for Bernie Sanders to overcome Hillary's 500 super delegate head start, he would have to get 80% of the votes across the country to beat Hillary. Absolutely impossible. The math don't add up. Are you serious? Oh, and the only other person the Democrats ran against Hillary was Bob. Nobody comes to his rally, O'Malley. Not even Joe Biden was allowed to run because the deep state told Joe, you sit down, you sit still. Hillary is the Manchurian candidate. Are you serious? Give your life to Jesus Christ. The swamp needs drained. Oh, and Donna, Brazile, appreciate you spilling your guts and gutting Debbie Wasserman and gutting Hillary. But you're just as bad. You gave Hillary all the questions for the CNN debate, the second debate. Trump still beat her in the debate, even though she knew what the questions were. That shows me she might have known the questions, but she didn't know what the heart of the people. Are you saved? Don't miss tonight's broadcast. Prime Time Live starts at 10 p.m. Eastern at my website at www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. I'm going to put right below right there at the beginning of this description, Bart Begley's website. Go check out the other articles he's written today as he is transforming the Crusader Journal and going to be writing more of his own articles to keep and to tie the current world events to the biblical prophecies of today. I'll see you later. God bless.